Hello, welcome back to another yoga video. My name's Mitzi, I'm Downward Doc, a yoga teacher trainee and GP, currently trying to build up on my Firefly pose. Recently, in my yoga practice at classes with my yoga teacher, I've noticed that I've started to develop the strength and flexibility to begin to hold Firefly. So I've developed this practice for us to do today to see if we can work on opening our hips a bit more and increasing our upper body strength to be able to hold some more challenging positions like Firefly. Remember, wherever you are in your practice, that's where you're meant to be right now, and I'm forever grateful for everything that my body can do for me. So if you'd like to join me today in this practice, find a nice space, grab your mat, and let's begin. Okay, so if you're ready, starting to make your way to the front of the mat in Tittibhasana, mountain pose. Here you want to really ground your feet through the three corners, softening the knees, gently engaging the thighs, hips stacked over knees, stacked over ankles. Rolling open your chest, heart shining forward, gaze slightly lifted. You could open out your hands facing slightly forward, starting to connect to your breath here. Maybe you want to set an intention today for your practice. Is it about the way you want to feel or something you want to achieve today? Inhaling your arms up, exhale, gentle back bend and forward fold. Inhaling up to halfway, exhale, forward fold, planting the hands and stepping the right foot back. Lowering your knee, uncurling the toes, inhale the arms up, exhale, sinking through the hips. Inhale, exhale, plant the hands, stepping back to the front of the mat. Next, stepping back with your left foot, lowering the knee, uncurling the toes, inhaling your arms up, exhale, sink through the hips. Inhale, and then exhale, lowering the hands, stepping into your plank from here. Knees, chest, chin for the first of our flows. And then exhaling back into child's pose, remembering you can come into child's pose at any point in your practice before pushing into your downward facing dog. Pressing evenly through the hands, maybe stepping out your downward dog, twisting, looking from side to side, and then stepping to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway, exhale, forward fold, inhaling to rise. And then standing back in your Tadasana, maybe have a little shake before we flow again. Taking a moment here to regulate your breathing. And then when you're ready, inhaling the arms up, gentle back bend, exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway up to rise, exhale, placing your hands onto the mat, stepping your right foot back, lowering the knees, uncurling the toes, inhale the arms up, exhale, sink through the hips. Inhale, exhale, hands down, stepping back to the front of the mat, and then stepping the left foot back, lowering the knee, uncurling the toes, inhaling your arms up, exhale, sink a little bit more through your hips. Inhale up, exhale, hands down, curling under the toe, coming into your plank. And then we're just going to fire up the core, so staying in your plank, dropping the knees, hovering just an inch off the floor before lifting up into plank. Do this a couple of times with your breath, dropping the knees, but not quite to the mat, hovering them just off the floor, really engaging the core, challenging your core. And then you can lower the knees fully to the ground and then come through your flow, maybe knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga, pushing back into your downward facing dog. Again, pressing evenly through the hands, engaging the fingers, shoulders away from the ears, hips up to the sky, maybe walking through the feet, sending the heels back before looking to the front of the mat, stepping up. Inhale halfway, exhale, forward fold before inhaling up to rise. Having a couple of breaths here, maybe twisting a little bit or coming back to Tittibhasana before we inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, planting through the hand, stepping the right foot back. This time, if you're able to, keep the knee up, coming into high crescent. Exhale, sinking through the hips. Now you're going to plant through your right hand onto the mat, bringing your left hand to your left hip, opening up the chest, and then bringing that hand up to the sky if you're able to, or keeping it at the hip. Your gaze or drishti can be towards the sky or towards your upper hand or towards the mat if you've got any neck issues. Coming back, stepping to the front of the mat before doing the same on the other side. So stepping that left foot back into your high crescent. Exhale, sinking through the hips. Inhale, exhale, planting through the left hand here. Right hand to your right hip before bringing it all the way up to the sky, feeling that deep twist if you're able to, or leaving your hand at the hip. Returning both hands to the mat now, coming through into your plank, finding your flow. You can continue with knees, chest, chin, or complete your full chaturanga before pushing back into your downward facing dog. And maybe you want to rest in stillness here or pedal out through the legs, or remember you can always come back to your child's pose and skip any of the flows at any time. Stepping to the front of the mat, inhaling halfway, exhale, forward fold before inhaling up to rise. Now, coming back at the front of the mat, inhale your arms up, gentle back bend, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, planting through the hands, stepping the right foot back. Staying in your high crescent, inhaling the arms up, exhale, sink through the hips, and we'll add on what we did last time. So grounding through that right hand, twisting your left arm up to the sky, feeling that deep abdominal twist. Staying here for a couple of breaths. Exhale that left hand inside your left foot, stepping that right foot to the edge of the mat this time. Now if you need to, you can lower your knee in this position. We're in lizard here. Or you can keep the knee lifted off the mat. And you're just going to challenge your flexibility here, maybe coming to your elbows or staying on your hands if not. We're really opening up the hips here. You shouldn't feel any pain, and if any point you can come out of this position. If you would like a bit more, you can come onto the edge of your left foot, pressing through your left knee, or even bringing that left hand up to the sky for a bit more of a twist. Returning your hands to the mat now, before stepping back into your plank, and then you're just going to find your flow, whether it's knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga, before pushing back to your downward facing dog. Remembering your downward facing dog is that active resting position, and you can always come to child's pose at any point. Look to the front of your mat, stepping through the hands. Inhale halfway, exhale, forward fold before inhaling all the way up to rise again. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. So, on your next inhale, arms up overhead, gentle back bend, exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway, exhale, forward fold. So we're going to be stepping with the left foot back this time, staying in your high crescent, keeping the knee off the mat if you're able to, or lowering it if not. Inhale, exhale, sinking through the hips. This time we're going to be lowering the left hand, grounding it to the mat, twisting the chest up, bringing that right hand up to the sky, or keeping it at your hip if you would prefer. Feeling that deep abdominal twist. Staying here for a couple of breaths. And then bringing that right hand inside that right foot. Stepping that right foot to the side of the mat, either lowering the left knee, or keeping the left knee raised. We're coming into our lizard now. So you can stay on your hands, or if you'd like a bit of a deeper stretch, you can come down to your elbows. Breathe into the stretch, in and out through the nose. Nice, gentle, slow breathing. Remembering you can stay here if you'd like a bit more. coming onto the edge of that right foot, pressing through the knee, and then maybe bringing that right hand up to the sky for a bit more of a deeper twist, deeper stretch through the hips. Before coming back to your plank, finding your flow, knees, chest, chin, or full chaturanga before pushing back to your downward facing dog. Hands pressing through the mat, shoulders away from the ears. You're sending your hips to the sky, drawing your heels to the mat. Jump or step to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway, exhale forward fold before inhaling all the way back up to rise, hands overhead. Okay, making our way to the floor, we're going to continue with some more hip openers and hamstring stretches. So coming through into Dandasana or staff pose, lengthening the spine, legs out in front, feet flex, hands pushing into the mat, gaze lifted, heart open. And then from here, we're going to open our legs a little bit, just slightly wider than the mat. Hold on to your big toes. And then you're just going to keep that spine elongated. You're not rounding through the back. Just inhaling, lengthen, and exhale, sinking a bit further as much as you're able to. Slowly making your way back up through Dandasana. We are going to now hug in your left knee. And we're going to move into some more hip openers. So you want to bring your left foot into your right elbow, left knee into your left elbow, and just gently rock a few times like you're hugging a baby. And then you can either bring your left foot into your left thigh, or if you're able to, bring your left foot over your right thigh into half lotus. From here, you want to sit tall, lengthening the spine, and then reaching the foot or the calf or the thigh, wherever you are, just bending forward a little bit more. Opening up that left hip, but then also feeling a hamstring stretch in your right leg. Gently release, allowing your feet to flop side to side, releasing your legs before moving on to the other side, hugging in your right knee, and then bringing your right foot into your left elbow, right knee into your right elbow, and just rocking side to side like you're hugging a baby. After a few times, either bringing that foot into the thigh, or if you have a little bit more range, you can come into half lotus on that right side, bringing that right foot over the chest before hinging at the hips, bending forward. Maybe you're able to reach your thigh, your calf, or even your foot. Just staying here, avoiding rounding through the spine, keeping that heart open, and then gently release. Again, allow your feet to flop side to side. Now you're going to open your legs just slightly wider than the mat. Hold on to your big toes, and again, you might be only reaching your calves or your thighs, wherever you are, lengthening the spine, keeping that chest open, avoiding rounding through the back. And just inhaling, lengthen, and then exhale, see if you can sink a little bit lower. And just do this a few times, seeing if each time you exhale, you're able to deepen your stretch slightly. If you would like to go into a bit of a deeper stretch here, you can come into tortoise. Now, this involves placing your left arm under your left knee, and then seeing if you can rock and put your right arm under your right leg. It's quite an awkward position to begin with, so wherever you are, just knowing that your intention in this pose will build up over time, and you'll gradually, with practice, you might notice some deepening of the stretch. Come out, and then we're just gonna make our way up into a little low crouch. And if crow is within your practice, or crane, you can start to practice this here. Just building up a bit of strength in the arms, getting our arms ready for practicing Firefly. So just getting used to that movement, that shifting of the weight. Now, I'm still at the very early stages of practicing Firefly myself, so if you are practicing it as well in your practice, now would be a time to join me. It's quite a tricky pose, trying to get your knees as close to your shoulders, balancing your thighs on the tops of your arms, bringing your feet in together, and then slowly straightening the legs and then trying to balance for a bit. So it's quite a strong pose. You can feel a bit of tension in your wrists, so if you do, make sure you take time to roll out the wrists and just loosen them up and release tension, and stretching the wrists out. You're welcome to spend as long as you like practicing Firefly, but for me, I think that's enough. I can feel a bit of tension in my wrists and I don't want to overdo it. So you can continue practicing, or if you'd like to join me, we'll come into our relaxation pose, but we'll just have a little twist on the ground before we do that. So coming through Tittibhasana again, we're going to slowly roll back down. So we're lying flat on the mat. Have a stretch here, reaching the arms overhead, pointing the toes, before coming into hug the knees tight into the chest, maybe lifting the chin off the mat as well if you'd like a bit of a deeper stretch. If you've got some tension in the lower back, you can roll out the knees, circling one way, and then making sure that you also circle in the opposite direction. You can separate the knees, making 2 separate circles, and again, release it the other way. Okay, so from here, if you stretch your arms out to the side in a T shape, and then just gently lowering both of your knees to the left, turning your gaze to the right, feeling a slight twist here. Not worrying too much if your knees are stacking over the other, trying not to strain the lower back. Returning to center, and then flopping your knees the other way to the right, turning your gaze gently to the left. Feel free to close your eyes at this point and just feel that lovely supine stretch. Maybe draw your knees back into your chest, hug again before coming into your final relaxation pose. You can come into full Savasana, or if like me you've got a little bit of tension in your back, you can stay with your knees slightly bent, feet grounded, and then just drop your knees towards each other. This helps to release tension in the back. Take a moment here, deepening through your breath, connecting to your inhales and your exhales, thanking yourself for the practice that you've done today. You might like to stay in this pose for a few more minutes, or you can start to bring a bit of movement into your body. Stretching out, drawing the knees into the chest, and then slowly rolling over to one side. Feel free to keep your eyes closed as you come up. Inhaling the arms up overhead, exhaling the hands into your heart center. Let's do that again. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling the hands through prayer into the heart center. Inhale the arms up again, and then exhale back your hands through your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this playful progression and thank you for joining me on my journey with practicing Firefly. Remember that wherever you are right now is where you're meant to be, and each day can vary from the next, so it's all about showing up and seeing that progression over time, but not being too hard on yourself, and know that whatever you're doing, you're helping to improve your mind and body. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.